Good afternoon and welcome to the Championship playoffs. In excess of 30,000 fans are on hand, the players are here, Nottingham Forest stand between the blades, a place at Wembley and ultimately the chance to win promotion back to the Premier League. Between now and kick-off at 3 p.m, we'll hear from the manager Paul Heckingbottom. Chris Basham talks to us after signing a new 2-year contract early this week, and George Baldock sits down exclusively with SUTV Live to discuss the challenge that lies ahead today. All of the broadcasting regulations relating to today's game can be found by visiting the website sufc.co.uk, where you'll find all the information that you need. This is SUTV Live.
Presentation today, boys, all them in possession, so what we do without the ball, all game, every part of the game. Before we start, little reminder, 4 teams left, one of us, one is in the Premier League regardless. It's real, it's real. Doing all this prep as normal. Today, tomorrow, start thinking about what it is, start thinking about this game, we're home, start thinking about it. How we win, when we've been at its best, what it takes to be at its best, okay?
Good afternoon, welcome inside our studio here at Bramall Lane. So how are we feeling? Are there a few nerves, a tingle of excitement, a little bit of tension, or is it all of the above? Well, alongside me for the roller coaster that is the playoffs, I've got 2 guests, the first of which an ever-present this season. Kevin Gage joins us on SUTV Live. You were fairly nervous before Fulham last weekend, Kevin. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good actually. I'm not apprehensive today. I think it's a bit more chilled, and I'm just excited about watching this. This should be a really, really good game of football. Well,
listening to Paul Heckingbottom there, he certainly got my pulse racing. You'll have played, I guess, under Dave Bassett most of all. How did he approach games like this?
Yeah, I don't think managers have to really motivate players for games like this. It takes care of itself. So the hard work's been done during the season. The players know what they've got to do. I bet they just can't wait to get out there and get going, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Alongside Kevin Gage is another blade who's made some history over the years. Rob Kozluk, welcome back to the studio. You'll have been in this position 19 years ago to the day now under Neil Warnock. How did he approach it?
I think, like Gage says, the preparation that they go into, they are quietly confident in what they've done. And you saw Eki there, his preparation is thorough, and he's the reason why we're here today.
Well, let's not waste any time then. Let's look at the team news. The team that will take on Nottingham Forest in this first leg of the semi-final of the Championship playoffs for Sheffield United. Unsurprisingly, Gagey, an unchanged starting 11 to the team which took to the field against Fulham a week ago.
Yeah, the team picks itself literally, doesn't it, at the moment, because of the injury situation. The only possible change might have been George Baldock if he'd been 100% fit to bring him in. But Osborne's been doing a great job on the right-hand side there, even though it's an unnatural position for him. I would go as far as to say that even if we had a whole squad available, I think that's probably the strongest possible team we can put out. Because I think, you know, as much as we love Billy Sharpman and what a great season he's had, and I voted for him for Player of the Year, by the way, he wouldn't get in that side because you can't not play Njai and Gibbs White up front at the moment with Berger just sitting behind. So I think that team is the best we could possibly play at this moment in time.
Well, we're going to focus on those striking options in a little while, but Rob, that really is some compliments, isn't it? That you look at that and Gage said, right here, right now, that's the best starting 11 this team can field.
Yeah, I think whatever side Eki puts out today, I mean, the prize that's on offer is you are going to do your best for that Blade shirt today. So it's the best side he can put out at this moment in time, and Gagey speaks about it, and let's hope the result comes with it.
And one man who is in that starting 11, as we would expect, is John Egan. He's played every minute of every league game so far this season. And just before we came on air, we had a chance to have a quick chat with him. Well, John, we appreciate you taking the time to join us on SUTV Live ahead of today's game. What are the emotions going into this? Because you played 46 games and now it comes down to several games over the playoffs.
Yeah, really excited. You know, it's great to have nudged our way into the playoffs. We needed some big results at the end of the season to get ourselves in the mix. We've managed to do that. So, you know, business as usual. Really looking forward to the game today. You know, all the lads have trained well all week, and you know, we just can't wait to get out there.
Yeah, and it goes without saying, all professional footballers want to be involved in these big games. I imagine you and the guys in that dressing room are no different.
Yeah, 100%. You know, you want to play in big games. especially the team we've got, the togetherness we've got. You know, we didn't feel like our season was going to end last week, and we knew we had to get a result. Got a big result, put ourselves where we want to be, and really looking forward to today's game now.
Yeah, and how important are these fans, that Bramall Lane factor? We got a taste of it against Fulham last weekend.
Huge. You know, packed out Bramall Lane, you know, singing us on, roaring us on from minute one. It's always good to play in this atmosphere, in this environment. So, you know, we're really looking forward to it, and hopefully we can give them something to shout about.
And obviously, these playoff semi-finals are two-legged affairs. So how do you approach this game? Because you can't win it in one game, but if things go awry, you can certainly put yourselves back a little.
Oh, you just have to look at it as another game. You know, it's probably been our biggest strength this season. We've never looked past the next game. And I know it's a two-legged affair, but, you know, we're just solely concentrated on today. We want to go out there and, you know, do ourselves justice, put in a performance that we know we're capable of, and, you know, hopefully the result comes with that.
All right, John, well, we're certainly excited here in the studio. We wish you the very best and hope it goes well.
Thank you. Cheers, Richard. Top man.
And it's a performance that we're very much looking forward to, eager with anticipation here at Bramall Lane this afternoon. Of course, it's 19 years ago to the day that these two sides met in the second leg of the First Division playoff semi-final, as it was back in 2003. You might have wondered why we had a shirt on the table when you joined us. Well, this is why. It's yours, Rob Kozluk, from that game, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the shirt I wore on that night, and Steve Hodge got 7 million for Maradona's. I'm looking for offers around 8 or 9 million. So
it sounds like a bargain.
Bargain, anybody's price, isn't it?
A few names on there as well. Take us through that.
Yeah, actually, this one's on the top left there. It says, "I love you, Neil Warnock." I think.
Did he know it was your shirt?
I think Warnock thought this was Brownie's. Derek Dooley in the middle. I mean, what a legend he is on his own. And then I've forged the rest, so it's a nice shirt if anyone wants to buy it.
so there you go. On a serious note, though, let's go back to that night in 2003. What was the atmosphere like, and how do you keep those emotions in check? So as we said there to John Egan, obviously it's a two-legged affair, and it ebbs and flows over the course of it.
Yeah, I think what happens is we gained momentum on that night, didn't they? The atmosphere was electric inside here.
Steve Cabot scoring an amazing goal.
Cabot, yeah, just these memories, like you say, to look back on, going on. Hopefully today this lives in the long memories to come. But
does this one?
Yeah, Pesh, he makes up for the goal he missed in the semi-final of the FA Cup. So, and then he goes, oh my God, it's like yesterday, but.
He loses it here completely, and he's admitted it since. What were you doing at this point?
I think I was just trying to get back on the line, because Warnock would blame me if any goals went in. So leave Pesh to celebrate. But I mean, what a night!
Trust Neil to keep your feet on the ground. He wasn't getting carried away at that point, was he?
I mean, look at that. I mean, we go into these games with some still speak to most of the team to this day. So no, these are what history's made of.
These are the moments that define careers as well, aren't they? And that night, you speak to anybody about the playoffs that's a Blade, and they will remember that night.
Yeah, they remember that night. I mean, even coming to the ground today, you know, there's a different vibe around here today, around Bramall Lane. And once the kick-off, all the nerves and that, when go into the games, they go and you play the game.
Gage, you look at pictures, as we've seen there. We spoke to John Egan a few moments ago about that Bramall Lane factor. It was on full show 7 days ago. This crowd have got a big part to play today.
Yeah, because I referenced that at the game against Fulham, and I suddenly realised that we play here for the first leg, and I thought it's going to be a huge advantage to bring that momentum we showed, or we had against Fulham, bring it today. So I think we've got a double edge to it today. I think the crowd are still on a high from the Fulham result, and so should the players be after that magnificent performance. And I think we just set off today where we left off against Fulham. I think it's a real bonus for us and a real advantage playing the home leg first, which you'd usually think is the other way around, wouldn't you? Most teams would prefer to play the away leg first and be at home for the second leg. I think it's going to work in our favour today.
I wanted to mention that front three, if you like. We spoke to Sander Berger after the win last week, and he said he was comfortable playing in that number 10 role. But what's changed over the last month? Because 4 weeks ago, we'd lost Billy Sharp. We were openly asking, where are the goals coming from in this team? And yet, somewhere along the line, something has clicked.
There's been a subtle change in the makeup of the of the attacking five, if you like. So we've got the midfield three and the front two. We've now kind of got a midfield two. So you've got Norwood and Fleck doing a little bit more holding. Norwood would do that anyway, but Fleck's not roaming quite as much. And Sander Berg is being given licence to roam as like a traditional number 10. Whereas before he was kind of on the right-hand side of Norwood and just doing that right-hand channel. He's now floating everywhere. And it's weird because you expect a traditional number 10, and we had Mark Duffy for years. He was brilliant. He's a legend down here, and he's now called the Duffy role, the 10 role. You have Duffy, you've got James Maddison at Leicester, Mason Mount at Chelsea, and then going back to like my era and Koz's era, Zola at Chelsea. They're always slight, nippy, quickish players, good on the ball. And all of a sudden, defenders are faced with like 6'5" Sander Berger steaming at them. It's a completely different style of number 10, but he's so effective, so difficult to shake off the ball. Just keeps getting on the ball and making the runs. It's fantastic to watch.
I'm trying to think, Rob, back in your day when you played here, I'm not sure we had a number 10 as such. We got Neil Warnock, likes the variation, is Steve Cabber maybe, but there was always Carlos Saba or somebody of that ilk to hit and be direct first up.
Yeah, I think back in there, it needed to give them the licence. If they had to come short, they could. If they could drop in behind, they could. So the role has changed, but Gage speaks about the physical profile now of Sander Berger, isn't it, with the pace coming off the side of him. So it is a trigger, and it is a good thing for, you can gamble off him, and he's effective.
Well, let's take a look at the Championship League table as it finished after 46 games and where these two teams finished up. Sheffield United, chaps, we see there in 5th, 5 points behind Nottingham Forest in the final standings. But the two times these two teams met, Kevin, both finished 1-1. There wasn't an awful lot between the two.
No, there's nothing between them at all, I don't think. I think that us and Forest are probably the two most expansive, creative sides out of the 4 teams there. So it's going to be a very, very tight game, and that league table means nothing anymore. Absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't mean anything at all. So it's just going to be a really, really good game of football. I'm so looking forward to just watching it unfold and seeing what happens. As I say, a little bit of the pressure off because of our playoff record. I think a lot of fans are coming here to go, what the hell, we're not desperate to do it this year. It's not like we've been stuck in League One for 4 years, 5 years, and we're desperate to get up, or we haven't been in the Premiership for the last decade and we need to get up there. It's just what will be today. Let's just enjoy it.
Well, Rob, I'm going to bring you in on Kevin's thoughts there. It's a different competition entirely, because if we look at Nottingham Forest's form coming into these playoffs, it might surprise a few. They were steaming along until they played Bournemouth. If they'd won that, there's a really good argument they'd have gone up automatically. They didn't. They lost it. They slipped up late on against Hull City last week. You've been in this situation. Does it matter if you're not necessarily playing your best football at the end of the regular season?
I think it certainly does, yeah. I mean, they've gone to Bournemouth. They could have had a party being in the playoffs after, and you do come away disappointed. And then resting players because you're in the playoffs at Hull. There's pros and cons to it. I mean, they might be fresher today, they might not. The break might not have gave them much advantage. So, on behalf of Sheffield United going in, knowing they had to win to get in there over Fulham, I feel momentum is with the Blades today, and it could be big.
Yeah, and if we look at the Blades' recent form over the last few weeks, that seems to bear it out, Kevin. 3 straight wins, 1 goal conceded, 8 scored. You can wish for more than that.
Absolutely, yeah. But it's been the manner of our performances as well. When we've absolutely have to win the games and put a performance on, we've done so. I mean, the last 2 games especially, and the QPR game, I mean, that will live long in the memory of that second half, because we were absolutely superb. One of the best halves of football I've seen for maybe 3 or 4 seasons, even going back to the Chris Wilder era when we just demolished teams. But we took apart a very, very good QPR side. And then Fulham, once again, absolutely ran riot in that first half, and Fulham had no answers to us whatsoever. So we really do go into today, on a real rich vein of form, and the players should be really full of confidence for this one.
I suppose if we don't make it to Wembley, then people won't really concern themselves with what we saw at Queen's Park Rangers. But Rob, if we do, that second half performance, is that where things flipped for the Blades?
I think the QPR second half gets you what happens here against Fulham. And then when you've beat Fulham here, it pans into today. So you're going into this with the confidence from QPR, the confidence from Fulham. And they're 2 teams that are highly regarded in that team to have done, aren't they? Fulham have gone. So at the end of the day, it's one of those like Gage mentioned. It's Forest coming off a defeat, Bournemouth, draw because they've rested. So it does favour us.
Well, let's hope so. Let's have a quick look at the dates for the semi-final second legs coming up. Of course, Huddersfield and Luton played their first leg last night. That stands at 1 apiece at half-time in that tie. The second leg is on Monday evening. The Blades played their second leg of this Championship playoff semi-final on Tuesday night at the City Ground at Nottingham. 7:45 kickoff for that. Will be on air from 7 p.m. But looking back 7 days ago, when the champions of the Championship, Fulham, came to town, could Sheffield United do the double over them this season? You bet they could.
Crucial game. Fulham in their black shirts, Sheffield United in red and white stripes. Egan getting forward here for United. He's continued his run inside the penalty area. In it goes from Ollie Norwood, great cross, and it's there! Morgan Gibbs-White. Lift off at Bramall Lane, and the perfect start for the Blades. Morgan Gibbs-White's 11th of the season, and United are in the box seat. Look how deep Mitrovic has come to get on the ball as Berger wins it. Berger, Gibbs-White, chance for Ndiaye! Brilliant from United! And Gibbs-White and Ndiaye combined again. Terrific play between the front pairing, and United have a 2-goal advantage. Here's Ndiaye. United seeking a third, and Berger! United have a third. Incredible scenes at Bramall Lane. Just look at those supporters, the Blades. They've not even played 25 minutes, and they lead the champions by 3-0. Osborne into Fleck. Sander Berger, brilliant football. Ender Stevens, that's 4. That's the best of the lot as well. Wonderful build-up play. And Ender Stevens with the finish in front of the Kop. United in a very strong position now, leading by 4-0. It is Hourahan into the wall. Played the 3 added minutes. There is the full-time whistle. Big ovation for Paul Heckingbottom, Sheffield United.
A terrific 4-0 hammering of the champions here at Bramall Lane sent the Blades into the post-season on a high. And not that we're superstitious around these parts, but we're told George Baldock chose the playlist for the warm-up ahead of the Fulham game. So we're not going to change the winning formula. The PA system is currently blaring out music, and we're told it's George Baldock's playlist again. Gage, were you one for superstition?
Not to the extent of playlist. They wouldn't have let me loose on the playlist when I played. I think most players, I think Kozzy would be exactly the same. Most players have a routine. You know, you can tend to go through the same things, put the same bits of clothing on, etc. Do similar warm-ups with your mates and things like that. So not lucky charms or anything like that, but players like routine.
But if it works, you don't need to fix it.
Absolutely, yeah. If it works, you'll do silly little things like you will think to yourself, oh yeah, maybe I did that last week. I had quite a good game, so keep to that. But don't make a big deal of it. But it's up there.
Absolutely.
It's up there. Well,
it was a good game as well for Ender Stevens, who found the back of the net, and the importance of beating Fulham wasn't lost on him.
Yeah, 100%. It's what we wanted. We wanted to finish the season strongly with a win. And it's cemented our place in the playoffs now.
How important was the start to get on the front foot and get them on the back foot so quickly?
Yeah, well, to be fair to them, they started really well. We had to ride it out, and we had to build our way into the game. And I thought after about 5 minutes, we kind of done that. We kind of upset their rhythm, and the boys at the top of the pitch were excellent today. They were brilliant. They won the ball back high. Flecky won the ball back high, and that allowed us to kind of hurt them, and we finished our chances.
Tell us about the 4th goal then.
It was a great bit of play between, I don't know who passed it into Flecky, but Flecky, Zander, and I don't know how Zander's, like, I've not called for it, I've just ball watching, following the play, and I don't know how he's seen me, and he's just pulled it back to me lovely, and I have the whole goal there.
Enda Stevens there, understandably delighted with last week's win. Perfect way to go into the playoffs. And over the course of the season, 2 games against the champions, 5 goals scored, none conceded, 6 points taken. That'll do us, thank you very much, very nicely indeed. But for the manager, it's all about keeping a level head. Here were the thoughts of Paul Heckingbottom following that win.
Oh yeah, impressive, obviously impressive performance, scoreline. Yeah, but we were just bothered about the 3 points. But just as we wanted to take care of matters here, the only way we can do that is control what we do in our performance. And yeah, I thought we were good. You know, Fulham came out of the blocks really well and moved the ball quick and showed the quality. But I thought from the moment we really stepped against them and tried to make it as difficult as we possibly could and made the game as uncomfortable as we could for them. The game then was in our favour because, as I said before, I think we had more on it than them. So yeah, after that moment, we were good, and probably the most pleasing thing is we never stopped, you know, right to the very end. You know, I try and take the risk away by, you know, encouraging us to be on the front foot, and whatever happens after that happens, because there's a way we're trying to play and want to play, and we do take risks, but I think that shows the possible benefits of it.
Kevin, we've already spoken about Sander Berge playing in a more advanced role and the influence he's got on this team, but over the last couple of weeks, that seems to have been the most noticeable change in the way this team is set up. And we heard from Sander after the game, it's clearly a role that he relishes.
Oh, he's absolutely enjoying his football at the moment. Yeah, I mean, he's looking back on these little clips. He's so high up the pitch. Obviously, he's playing that 10 role, but we kind of wasted him for it. That sounds silly to say, didn't it? We kind of wasted his ability for 6 months playing in too deep. And I think Sander came out and said, you know, he's used to playing that deep role because he's been used in a deep line midfield role for his previous clubs. So I think he's finally maybe realised what he's actually best at, and we're finally getting the best out of him, because he's certainly, you know, he's virtually unplayable at times. When he gets on that ball and he drives forward, he's got the physical stature to hold people off with his arms, you know, as defenders come near him. Because of his height as well, he's pushing them away in the chest and around there, and it's very difficult when you're trying to get close to somebody and you keep getting knocked back. So he's got everything. He's got the technical ability, he's got the physical strength. He's lightning quick as well, which he's not picked up on. But when he gets going, a bit like Usain Bolt, you know, he takes some stopping.
So hang on a minute, stop. I'm going to stop you right there. So we've now got a 6'4", 15-stone Usain Bolt. Is that what you're telling us in midfield?
Yeah, I think so. I think he does the 100 metres in, you know, way under 11 seconds apparently. I got that stat from when he first joined. But I mean, his son play, he really is, and he's finally kind of living up to his price tag. Because don't forget, he comes with a big price tag, which he hasn't really justified, to be honest, yet, but we're certainly seeing signs of it now. Yeah,
and talking on a more serious note, Rob, sometimes do you need an element of good fortune? Do you need to be able to just stumble across something by accident? And is that what's happened with Sheffield United and Sander Berge in the last few weeks?
Yeah, I think Ecky's gave him the role and responsibility that out of possession, this is what you do. But the players like Sander Berge and our front three actually are players you just let them go in the final third. The inventive, the creative, everything Gage just spoke about. And like you say, that you don't coach them, you let them get on with what they've got.
Yeah, I mean, Kozzy's quite right. The front three, if you're a centre-half, you're a Nottingham Forest centre-half or a Fulham centre-half last week, and you used to be marking strikers, that's what you used to do. And you're happy if you've got a striker to mark, someone to get physical with. And all of a sudden you've got Njai and Gibbs-White flying everywhere in front of you and dropping deep to get the ball and running at you. You're going, whoa, what's going on here? It's totally unlike what we're used to seeing in, you know, Championship football, which is sometimes 2 strikers up front or at least 1 striker and someone playing a bit off them. All of a sudden we got kind of 3 number 10s, haven't we?
Yeah, and it's a real luxury as well, it has to be said. I've got to make a special mention of whoever's in charge of the PA here, because he's ramped up the volume, and I'm a big believer on games like this, you want a big game atmosphere. We've talked about the crowd inside Bramall Lane, but this all adds to the atmosphere, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've been in well, my old Wimbledon side, we used to take a big ghetto blaster, as they're called, you know, a big stereo system to all games, home games, away games, and we used to crank the volume up big style in the change room. So it all adds to the atmosphere, definitely.
And we saw the pictures, Rob, from earlier in the season, 19 years ago, and the stands absolutely packed to the rafters, the crowd going berserk. It's one thing for us to talk about it. When you're out there playing on that pitch, put into some sort of context for us the difference it makes.
I think when you used to witness like the derby days, when your Wednesdays would turn up and that, this has got a vibe of that. And I've not really sat here many times and felt this is bouncing, isn't it? Like you say, he's ramped this up. So it gets everybody going into it, doesn't it? And these are the games that the crowd's massive, and the home advantage this time is on our favour. Let's hope it pays.
Hang on. We're going to have to pull George Baldock up on this. We've got, sounds like, is it Celine Dion playing out there?
It's a bit of Whitley, isn't it?
Got no idea. But suddenly the atmosphere's dropped about 10 decibels as we've got I'll Always Love You playing. We'll concentrate on the game, fellas. And the last time the Nottingham Forest were in these parts was a Friday night game, March the 4th, and it was a keenly contested affair.
As we've said plenty of times, always a little bit special under the lights. Now Keenan Davis, here's the dangerous Johnson, left-footed, takes a deflection and an out-swinging corner. And headed towards goal by Davis. And there's a counter-attack on here for United, and they've got players moving forward. One of them is Sander Berger. Sariki's on his outside. Berger with a strike, beaten away. Sariki puts it across the 6-yard area. Zinkernagel makes the run. Zinkernagel's in here for Forest. Good save by Wes Fodringham. Looking to take on Norrington Davies. He bursts into the penalty area and he goes down. It looked like a trip. And it is a penalty to Nottingham Forest. Can Fodringham repeat his heroics? He can! And it gets to the second ball too. Johnson just chipped it down the middle. How many times do you see that? And the keeper dives out the way. Forward now towards Gibbs-White. Good first touch. Gibbs-White with the shot. And it goes. Chance again for Forest. Now Gibbs-White. And goes the cross towards the back post. And it's there! Billy Sharp celebrates in front of the Kop. Who else for Sheffield United? It's his 13th of the campaign. And the Blades take the lead. Deep corner. Sharp's there again. And a second time. Horvath keeps Forest in it. Fleck. A shot by Davis is blocked. Egan keeps it alive. Egan again. Another block comes in. Gibbs-White. Can he look after the ball for United? Goes on a mazy run. Jefferson wants it. Can Jefferson get there? Jefferson saved by the keeper. Outswinger, and it goes. There's the header, and it's there, the equaliser. Yates who's got it for Forest. The final minute of stoppage time, and the visitors have equalised.
Ryan Yates stealing a point for the visitors right at the death there, just when the Blades thought they'd claimed all 3 points. That was over 2 months ago now. Gage, can we take anything from that, read anything into the performance of either side, or as we said earlier, is this a whole new competition, slate wiped clean? Yeah,
but I think it's recent enough for individual players to remember and to remember who they were playing against, so I think it will help the players, just their immediate opposite number, just how to get the better of them. But I think we played really well in that game. Second half, just looking back there, just seeing the chances we had. So I think, they were good opposition, but we certainly held our own. And everybody was raving about Forest at the time. They were this super team flying up the league. I think we put them in their place a bit, and they were lucky to get a point in the end.
They did start the game very well that night. Wes Fodringham made a penalty save. That will be fresh in the memory for Paul Heckingbottom. What tweaks does he have to make?
Well, they'll have analysed it, they'll have looked back, but I don't think it's about Forest today. I genuinely think we've just been waxing lyrical about our creative force going forward and everything else. So I think it's all about how we approach the game and how we set out and how we perform. We've got to take the game to them. We've got to use all the players we've just been talking about, and Giles and Gibbs-White and Sander Bergers. Our defence is strong. Our defence would want another clean sheet. I mean, obviously, if that happens, we'll be delighted. So I think it's all about how Sheffield United approach this. Forest are a good side, but here at Bramall Lane this afternoon, we have to make that count. And I think we go into this game as favourites to win it.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a little over half an hour to go to kick off in this Championship playoff semi-final first leg. If you are just joining us, welcome along, but where have you been? Here's a reminder of the team news for both sides, starting first of all with the visitors, Nottingham Forest. I'll come to you here, Rob Kozluk, because there's the name of Brennan Johnson there, who is their leading scorer this season. But you played 19 years ago against his father, didn't you?
Yeah, still speak to David. Obviously seen a lot of Brennan this year. He's their match winner. You've seen a lot of him, and he's done very well this season. But at the same time, you'd look at their side and say that there's similarities in there that we can accustom to. We've got match winners ourselves. But looking at it, Kozluk, probably midfielder playing left wing back. You've got Jed Spence. Yeah, he's had a great season going forward. Who's actually tested him going the other way? Not many. Yates, he's not heading an odd occasion, and so hopefully the occasion gets the better of him. But at the same time, Garner from United, he's got good delivery. So Eki knows their strengths, doesn't he? It's not like they're going to reinvent anything and come at us in a different way. So you know what Forest have got to offer, and I feel we've got more.
Bradley Johnson is their leading scorer with 17 in all competitions, 16 in the league this season. But Kevin, Sam Sturridge was signed in the January transfer window. He's already got 8 goals to his name in all competitions. How big a signing has he been for them?
Yeah, he's been huge, hasn't he? Yeah, it's a very, very good signing for them. It's perhaps just what they needed to kind of spearhead, you know, but give them that final push to as I said, they keep that run going, because they were near the bottom of the league, weren't they? So I think they've been the form side, shall we say, over the last 7 months of the season. So they thoroughly deserve to be where they currently are, and obviously in the playoffs. But you know, once again, nothing for us to fear. You know, I think we're easy, if not better than them.
I like that confidence. We like that confidence, Kevin Gage. Let's take a quick look at the form for the visitors coming into this game under Steve Cooper since he took charge. 38 games, 2 points a game. We've said it just by watching them, but their form has been impressive. He's done a really good job since taking over from Chris Hughton, hasn't he?
Yeah, I saw a lot of Forest under Chris Hughton, and they really did down tools for Chris Hughton. So coming in, he's gave them confidence, haven't they? And they've just built on momentum like they would. And obviously the stats are there. But when Gage says this is a different game today, and I've seen them lose at Luton, where Luton did an absolute job on them, stopped the supply to where they're strong, and it was effective. So at the same time, they've got an impressive stats, but it can easily be broken.
Yeah, and Sheffield United have proven time and time again that they're more than capable of doing that here at Bramall Lane. Let's remind you of the starting 11 for the Blades this afternoon. Unchanged from the team that started that 4-0 win 7 days ago here against Fulham. No surprises there at all. Kevin Gage, George Baldock maybe had a chance of breaking into the starting lineup, but given the form recently that we've seen from Ben Osborne, it would be hard to displace him, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he's fulfilled the role there, hasn't he? It's not ideal, and he does cut back on his left foot, obviously. Sometimes that helps us, because it allows us for him to play a ball into the front players, or Njai or Gibbs White or someone, and then we can make our runs off him and build off him.
I don't know quite what's happened there, but we'll
I've got a text.
Try and push on. Hello? Regardless. Was that your phone? If we can, we'll go to Chris Basham because he signed a new 2-year extension to his deal this week. He's been at the club since 2014, and everyone concerned was delighted to commit his future here for another 2 years.
Yeah, I'm overwhelmed. Obviously, the club, Omni Sports, have got me to where I am now, and it's carrying on. It's fantastic. It's 8 years. It'll be 9 and 10, and it's an amazing achievement personally, and it's amazing achievement from the club to back us like they have. I'm thoroughly proud and can't wait for the next couple of games.
Nice, I'd imagine, to get it done out of the way just in time for the playoffs as well.
Yeah, my sole focus was to get the contract done, get it signed. I knew it was always rotating the way that I wanted it to. It was always going to get done, and the club have backed us now, and I've got to try and respond in the right way as a footballer.
You've got such an affinity with this football club. I would imagine there was never any doubt in your mind that you wanted to stay.
No, I always wanted to stay, but to get to 10 years at a football club is a very proud moment for me, my family, and everybody close to us. So for that to happen with this contract, it's an amazing feeling. Hopefully the fans will feel the same way.
So everyone around Sheffield United delighted at Chris Basham putting pen to paper on a new deal. Clearly, Kevin, not happy at you going on as much as you were because they turned the fire alarm on.
Yes.
And there we are, right on cue. You couldn't script that, could you? Okay, we'll take you to an SUTV Live exclusive now with George Baldock looking ahead to today's game.
Yeah, really excited. You know, I think Hecky's spoken about it Really excited. Really excited. I think Hecky's spoken about it at length. It's almost like a new competition. Really excited.
Apologies.
Yeah, I'm overwhelmed. Obviously, the club, Omni Sports, have got me to where I am now, and it's carrying on. It's fantastic. Yeah, I'm overwhelmed. Obviously, the club, Omni Sports, have got me to where I am now, and it's carrying on. It's fantastic. It's 8 years. There'll be 9 and 10, and
Crucial game. Fulham in their black shirts, Sheffield United in red and white stripes. Egan getting forward here for United.
Apologies for that, a few technical difficulties today, but we shall push on because it's all about the game against Nottingham Forest. Championship playoff semi-final, first leg here at Bramall Lane, and before the fire alarm got involved there, Kevin Gage, we were going to talk about that front three, Morgan Gibbs-White, Iliman Ndiaye and Sander Berge, who in recent weeks have set this place alight, and we can see a few examples of that right now because there's an understanding that's developed between them that has really benefited this team.
Yeah, I mean, it's been such a bonus. I mean, remember they first played together, I think it was way back in Peterborough under Slav, wasn't it? We won 6-2 and they were like a revelation, weren't they? And then we found out that they'd been brilliant in training. They developed this understanding and this telepathy, really. But they're very similar type players, aren't they? So, as I said earlier, it's strange to have two very similar players in those two striker positions. Usually you have a traditional number 9 and someone playing off him, but we've currently got two kind of number 10s, and then Sander Berge sat 5-10 yards behind him, making his runs and getting on the ball and creating things there. It's truly unique, I think, in football to play like this. I can't think of another side that does. You could only really say Man City or someone as good as that, or or Barcelona with Aguero dropping deep and move. It really is a bit like that. It's so fluid and so creative. It's just so entertaining as well.
And as you said, it's the type of thing that we don't really see in the Championship. I wonder, Robert, has it sort of forced the Blades to change their style of play as well to accommodate them?
I think it gives variation in what sort of service you can put up to the front three, because Gage spoke there. You've got height within Sander, so balls can come in high. It just questions defences. You just wouldn't want to play against the front three when they're running at you at that speed or anything, because they've got creativity and they can take you on. They can do what they want.
Right, let's go back to the Blades starting 11 for today. We'll show you that once again. We said it was unchanged from the team that took to the pitch against Fulham last weekend, and going from a situation, Gagey, where we were like, Paul Heckingbottom's down to a threadbare squad here. You've now got not just an 11, but you look at the bench as well, and suddenly it looks very strong given the form they're in.
Yeah, I mean, I made the point earlier in the show. I wouldn't actually change that team anyway, even if we had a full strength squad to pick from, and even if Billy Sharp was fit, I wouldn't change the team, because I think it's just on a real high and it works so well. And we haven't even, we've been talking about the creativity and the front three and the midfielders. We haven't even touched on the defence, because our clean sheet record is fantastic and our defenders have been superb this season. We saw Chris Basham earlier. I mean, once again, it's great news this week, by the way. Basham and Robinson signed their new contracts. Yeah. They must be on a high now. The fans are pleased to see that all settled and signed and done and dusted. So, our defence is going to be a key area for us today. We give nothing away usually. Let's hope that's the same this afternoon.
And it enhances a stability which you need to be successful, don't you? And if we take you back to November, when Paul Heckingbottom was appointed manager of this first team full term, this was his press conference and what he said then, and some of those themes ring true here.
I've probably been on an informal interview, if you like, for like 18 months, and that'll have been a conversation with everyone. The reasons that I was brought in by Chris, conversation with Steve, Carl, we're always about these sorts of things, if you like. Sustainability of the club, and just improvements in every department. When you remove from a manager's position, if you like, it's easier to make all them recommendations. When you're in a manager's position, it's about the next game. It's about a win. The club always have to think long term. 5 years time, someone else sitting here, but they might be the benefits of the things that Yusuf's talking about now. That's the aim. My aim is to help try and achieve that, but win on Saturday, win on Sunday this week, and the week after. And it is my role, if you like, and we've just been speaking about it. It probably has got two parts. So there's a short-term aim for me, which is this season, promotion. Everyone sitting here has seen the league. And I honestly believe that this group of players should be higher up, and this group of players can be higher up, and I believe in them. And that's the exciting thing for me, sitting here.
This was the position the Blades found themselves in back in November when Paul Heckingbottom was appointed full-time manager. Here, 19 games played, just 23 points garnered. We flip a few months forward, chaps, to where Sheffield United finished after 46 games, and look at the difference. They've amassed 52 points in 27 games there, Rob. It's a turnaround we would have hoped for, but probably scarcely believed would happen.
I think when Eki took over, didn't he? He would have had a vision where he wanted to take the club this season, but not probably within to go again next season. But he brought together. You speak how good Eki's been, but the backroom staff into with Jack and Maka. He put together with Juki, the goalkeeper coach as well, a team that they're all on the same page and they all know how to treat players right and the day-to-day running of a football club. And if you input that spirit that I was always at Sheffield United, that the spirit here is different to anywhere else, and he started putting it back in, and it's back.
Yeah, and it does make a difference without doubt. There's three words that I wrote down while listening to Paul Heckingbottom there, Kevin: sustainability, improvement, long term. And yet somehow he seems to manage to mould this squad into producing all of that in the space of 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say most Blaze fans were distinctly underwhelmed, weren't they? Yeah. When we basically promoted one of the academy coaches to first team manager, and people were scratching their heads. They thought it was a backward step, especially when the club came out and said, well, we're not going to spend any money. We won't be spending millions in the transfer window, which is what Slab wanted, I think. So everybody was a bit of a downer. So it's to his eternal credit, that he's galvanised everybody into get us where we are now. It's just been a remarkable turnaround, and playing some fantastic football as well. So I think credit Heckingbottom, of course, and the backroom staff, but the players have really responded so well to it. They've really bought into what he's been on about, and it's been fantastic to watch.
Put it into some sort of context for us then. Just how well has he done here? What sort of job has he done in the intervening period?
Well, I don't think anybody coming in could have done a better job. Any of the top European managers that you wish to name, I don't think anybody would have done a better job than Paul Heckingbottom has done for Sheffield United. I think it had helped that he'd been here for a while. He'd been the academy coach. He'd had success with the teams he's been brought through. Chris Wilder knew him and trusted him, so he's got a good track record there, obviously. He knows the ethos of the club. He knows how the club ticks. He knows what it's all about. And Rob's just picked up on it. Brilliant masterstroke bringing in Stuart McCall as well. Also Jack Lester, who's been at the club a couple of years as well. So him along with Heckingbottom knew what the club's about. So we've got all three of them now who know what Sheffield United's about, know what the fans want to see, what the fans will tolerate, and what's required of a Sheffield United player and a Sheffield United team. And the players already here. A lot of them came up through the Chris Wilder era, so they were used to the passion, the hard work. We've also got the creativity and the quality in the team that's now coming to fruition on the pitch. Everything's just gelled perfectly well.
Well, Rob, was that the missing ingredient? That as Gage just mentioned there, you bring in Jack Lester, Stuart McCall, two guys that played their football here, know what the club's about. But in Paul Heckingbottom, Chris Wilder had pointed to him, over a year and a half ago. He'd moulded the youngsters. He knew all these players. A lot of them were the same that had got the club to the Premier League.
Yeah, I think Eki obviously knows what standards get success, and throughout the whole of Sheffield United, he knows what the fans want, and these are different fans here. If you see the players giving 100% on a Saturday, the fans will buy into it, and that's what he's installed back into the side. Under Slavisa, were we off our standards? Probably slightly slow, and that's what the league table was telling us. So he's put it back in, fans have bought into it, and he's getting rewarded.
Absolutely. Well, let's turn our attention to today's game. Kickoff just 15 minutes away against Nottingham Forest in this Championship playoff semi-final. First leg at Bramall Lane. We caught up a little earlier in the week in an SUTV Live exclusive with George Baldock, who looked ahead at what lies ahead today.
Yeah, really excited. You know, I think Heki's spoken about it at length. It's almost like a new competition now. You know, the league season's done and everyone's starting afresh, and yeah, really looking forward to it.
How hard have you had to work to get back for these last few games of the season?
Yeah, really hard. Obviously, I wasn't 100% for the last game, but you know, I was just desperate to be involved. You know, there's a lot of the lads now that have been out of injury have been playing a part behind the scenes, and you know, I've just been trying to do that. And you know, the boys are absolutely fantastic, and yeah, feeling fully fit and ready to go.
Yeah, others have spoken about the players who have been injured and how important they've been, thinking like to David McGoldrick and the experience they can bring. So how much have they been a help to you?
Yeah, definitely, and I think more so for the younger players. Obviously, someone like David, he plays such a big role in the dressing room. You know, keeps everyone's standards in check, and I think, you know, especially with the younger lads, you know, playing so well at the minute, I think it's important to have someone like Didsy always there. You know, speaking to with advice, and like I said, keeping their standards.
You've got a lot of players in the camp with playoff experience. That must be a help as well.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking to Connor, I think it's his 5th one, or so. Yeah, it is exciting, but like I said, it's almost new every time you do it. I haven't actually been involved in the playoff game, but you know, really looking forward to it.
I know you'd have been loving to be out there against Fulham, but watching from the bench, you must have been really impressed with the side's performance.
Oh, unbelievable. Whether you're out there or not, you know, you just wanted the job to get done, and you know, I thought the boys were absolutely unbelievable. You know, everyone was at it. You could tell Fulham started really well, like you'd expect them to, but you know, as soon as we got the goal, I thought the boys were magnificent.
Everyone played their part, of course, and just want to highlight Ben Osborne. You know how difficult it is playing that role, but obviously he's had to come in left-sided and play on the right. So how well do you think he's done? I
think he's been brilliant. I think Ozzy's one of those players that's so invaluable to a squad because, you know, you can put him anywhere. You know, he's basically played in every position bar centre half, and I think you know, he's just so reliable. You can put him anywhere, like I said, and he'll do a job. He's such an honest footballer, and he's got bags of ability as well. So yeah, he's great to have.
Nottingham Forest and their opponents in the playoffs. 2 close games against them this season. What do you make of the challenge ahead?
Yeah, been really impressed with them. Obviously, since the new manager came in, he's got a new style of play, and he's brought some good players into their club. And you know, they look a fit group, full of energy and also talent. So it's going to be difficult, but you know, hopefully we can get off to a good start at a packed house at Bramall Lane like at Fulham, because I thought the atmosphere was a key factor in the boys' performance.
You're just coming on to the atmosphere, something akin to what you experienced at Fulham, I guess, will be a huge help as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. It was a nice day. You know, everything was there for kind of Fulham to come strut their stuff, but you know, because of our backing and the lads' mentality, I thought the fans were different class, and like I said, it really showed in the performance.
George Baldock looking ahead to today's game, and hopefully much more success as a Blade in the years to come, and certainly this season. The roar you might have just been able to make out behind me is because David McGoldrick has come onto the field. He announced earlier this week that he'll be leaving the club at the end of this season. Kevin Gage, he has been a fantastic servant over the last several years for Sheffield United.
It's wonderful. This is a fantastic way to honour him as well. I mean, he arrived on trial, believe it or not. I mean, professional footballer to go on trial.
I actually covered the game. Weird. Was it Inter Milan that were here, I think, that he scored against in a trial?
It came on a month's trial, on obviously a free transfer. And I mean, at that stage of your career, you're thinking, oh, blimey, you know, you're a tipping point in your career. But to achieve what he has done, he's been absolutely phenomenal. Not just, he's not an out-and-out goal scorer. He's a number 10 deep line striker. But the way he linked the play in our promotion season, and then did exactly the same in the
scored some big goals as well
in the rough and tumble of the Premier League with all the quality there, and he held his own. I mean, yeah, you see the strength of his techniques. As I said, he's not. With a bit more clinical finishing, he could have had double the amount of goals, but that's never really been his game. He's more of a set-up player, and as I say, dropping deep to get the ball and getting those space, and I think he gets as much pleasure out of playing the killer pass or the assist than the actual goal scoring. I mean, wonderful servant for Sheffield United. Richly deserves that accolade there.
Yeah, great that he could come out in front of a full house as well and receive the appreciation of the Sheffield United fans here at Bramall Lane on what is a big occasion. Nottingham Forest are in town. A two-legged semi-final awaits for the winners. It's a prize of a chance to play at Wembley and the opportunity to reclaim a spot in English football's top flight, the Premier League. Morgan Gibbs-White has been an outstanding player for the Blades this season. We looked ahead to this game with him a couple of days ago, and he admits that the Blades and Nottingham Forest have trodden on similar paths to get to this point.
Yeah, very similar. I mean, we've got new managers come in, change the whole team. Not change the whole team, but really change the way they wanted to play, the ideas of playing, and fair play to us both. We've both got up there deservedly. And yeah, it's going to be a tough test Saturday, but I really believe we've got it.
Who's favourites then? Everybody talks, don't they? It's about Forest and the cup run and getting in there, and it's Sheffield United and the Premier League team and all the different kind of layers to this contest.
I wouldn't say there's a favourite. I'd say we're definitely more hungrier, and I feel like in the last games we've had and the form that we've been in, we're the most feared team right now out of the four.
What brings you to that conclusion then?
Just the way we are as a team, the way we press, the way we want to win games. We have a real big winning mentality. We hate conceding goals. We love winning. I just feel like the group is a very good, experienced team to get us through these playoffs.
Big time players make big time plays in big time games. Gage, Morgan Gibbs-White is a big time player for this team, and this is a big time game.
Yeah, and he usually produces, doesn't he? He usually comes to the fore. I mean, we have to thank Slav for his signing, don't we? He obviously picked him out and realised we needed something else, and I mean, what a signing he's been. I personally just hope there's some way we can keep him next season. Whatever division we end up in, it would be nice to think we've got a chance of signing, because he plays with the air of someone who just loves to be here. He loves the club. The fans have taken to him, and that's a big thing for a player as well. Yes, you can go back to Wolves and he'll be in the Premiership, but will he get a go in the side? He'll be sat on the bench. He'll be kicking his heels. He'll be looking at Sheffield United thinking, my word, I could be a real legend here, like McGoldrick, like some of the other players we've had there down in the past. Really good opportunity for him as a player to kick on, I think.
Yeah, completely. And if the Blades win the Premier League, that might make that task a little bit easier. We've got pretty much a full house on hand. We're going to let you go to the commentary booth in a second, but first of all, how do we approach this and how do you see it going this afternoon?
We approach it exactly the same as we approached the QPR game, especially the second half, and the Fulham game for certain. And to be honest, the way we approach most of the home games in Hecky's reign, we just have to go straight from the first whistle, just get after them. And if ultimately we do fail in the playoffs, then at least let's fail by having a real go and giving it everything. We're not going to sit back today, no way. We're going to throw everything and the kitchen sink at them.
Will it be enough to take a lead to the City Ground in a few days' time? Yes, says Kevin Gage. Rob, how important is it's not easy to do when you have this sort of atmosphere, but how important is it in this situation to keep a level head?
I think these players are quite used to this stage of excitement and what is on offer in the game, but Gage is right. You can come out, don't you? You approach this game. I think if we take out a game to Forest, I've seen Forest in the recent games. They don't start well when I've watched them, so you can build on that momentum. Yeah, we've got the home advantage, so we do need to be looking to take some advantage into the City Ground next week, but it's all about us today.
Well, we'd certainly take them not starting well here at Bramall Lane. Whilst others may be losing their heads, the manager certainly can't, and Paul Heckingbottom is keenly aware of that.
You've heard the old saying, you can't win it in the first leg, but you can lose it.
to a certain extent, I agree with that. It's half time at the end of this, you know. we spoke about, it's not like you're winning last 10 minutes. You have to hold on for the 3 points. You don't. I think if the game's there for you, you can be just as positive as you have been for the previous 18, try and get another goal, because it sets you up better.
You obviously have prior experience of leading a team in the playoffs. Is that helping you now?
I don't know, it will be. All your experiences help you, I think. We've been in that situation before. All your experiences, good and bad, dealing with different things. I think you just get a bit more clear in what's important, what's not. And yeah, so the games are big enough. I said numerous times, the games take care of themselves how big they are. I think the preparation's right to make sure we've got the right messages across, we're prepared to go and play, and then we create a little bit of a buzz, but the right environment for them to go and play as well. So it's not overbearing, it's not stifling, we can still go out and express ourselves, but at the same time know how big it is and know what's at stake.
You are looking at a sun-drenched Bramall Lane Stadium, eager with anticipation, the vast majority of a crowd in excess of 30,000 fans. The prize ultimately is a place playing back in the Premier League, but first of all the Blades must overcome Nottingham Forest over 2 games in the Championship playoff semi-final. Rob Kozluk, you've been here, you've got the t-shirt, you know what it's all about. What are the final words that are being spoken about in that dressing room right now?
I think you just do your roles and responsibilities, don't you? You know what's asked of you. Don't do anything to like put yourself in danger first whatever. And I mean, looking at that picture there, doesn't it? It doesn't get better than this. So these are the days you want to be a footballer, and let's hope it pays.
And these are the days that this stadium, these fans are made for, aren't they?
This is what this place is about, isn't it, these days? I mean, you've seen it's bouncing like we spoke about, but once they get underway and we can get some more excitement into them, isn't it? This place is it.
And you don't need me to tell you, we've already seen footage of semi-finals you were involved in. Just in games themselves, emotions can ebb and flow. It's pretty much about those who can keep their heads best around them, isn't it?
Yeah, you won't know it obviously on the day, but then you get the results and you get to where we want to be. And these are the days you look back on and you go, what a day that was. So let's look at that. That's just brilliant.
I mentioned it to John Egan right at the top of the show. You can't win the tie in the first game, but you can certainly set yourself back. How keenly aware does everyone need to be of that, and the facts you've got to look at the big picture here?
That's going to be a big thing that Ecky's saying. Look, play your way into this game, aren't you? You can go into it, but build on momentum. We'll get chances. It's about putting them away. And you saw yesterday in the other tie that Huddersfield and Luton, isn't it? There's going to be some big decisions made today, and hopefully on the right end of them.
And the stakes are high. Both these clubs, rightfully with their histories, will feel they deserve to be in the top flight.
Yeah, you'll be sat in both camps today, and both camps will be saying, look, this is our day, we deserve to be here. So, level playing field, but we are the Blades and we'll come through.
How do you see it going then? Give us a prediction.
We want the advantage, so I'm going for 2-0 Sheffield.
2-0 Sheffield. Okay, the time for talking, the time for hype is over. It's time to hand over to the players to do their talking on the pitch. This is the first leg of the Championship playoff semi-final, Sheffield United against Nottingham Forest, and to take you through all the action in a moment, you'll hear from Kevin Gage, but first of all, Matt Young.
Here we go then, a minimum of 180 minutes of nerve-shredding and excitement lies ahead as these